Hey Carrie, okay, here's your past life spread. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at where we are, what you did with the majority of your time, an important day, another important day, the death, and the lesson learned. And I'll be getting hits of time throughout, so I'll just relay to you the images and impressions I'm getting. And your job is going to be to try to make connections from anything coming up here to your current life, and I'll try to help where I can. Alright? So, to start off, we're going to an island. And this can mean a lot of things, it can mean Australia, it can mean Hawaii, it can mean all kinds of islands. And what comes to mind right away is that this place is very super lush and fertile and abundant, and this place is like I want to say tropical oasis, but also like there's a jungle aspect to it. And I want to say that also it's feeling like it would be more Polynesian, but I'm not sure if it's Hawaii per se or like or more of like the New Zealand thing. Like there's a Polynesian aspect to it, so just keep that in mind. And how you can make connections there is, one, if you like island living, if you like tropical things, beaches, if that's your gig, like I'm a mountain person. Other people are beach people. So if you're a beach person, that could also stem from here as well. On the other hand, you could be like not at all for the beach because you're so already experienced it. So what we experienced before, we like to come back and experience something different. So that's how you can make connections. But we're getting a island vibe, we're getting Polynesian. Also, yeah, like even if you're drawn to like, that Disney movie Moana, or like island theme, or even if you decorate your place with pictures of the ocean or whatever it is, that could be a connection. So, what you did with the majority of your time, this is the science card, and I feel like we're looking at a place that, even though I feel like modernity is rising around it, they're kind of staying pretty simple here, and I feel like that's the appeal. And I feel like even today, if you were to go to this place, they would still be holding on to traditions in a big way. So I feel like the science card isn't so much about like technology, but more so I feel like we're looking at somebody who worked with minerals. I feel like this has to do with I feel like where you are is very abundant in a certain mineral, kind of like that movie Avatar, right? Like there's this huge like abundance of this mineral that in other places it's very valuable, and for where you live its value is different, but it's still valuable. And I feel like you work with whatever this is. So in your current life, if you have had or still do have any interest in like geology, or digging up rocks, if you like crystals, rocks, stones, if you're interested in chemistry in like even a food kind of healthy way, like if you like the idea of herbology, or like just using natural substances to create things that are useful, if that speaks to you at all, it would stem from here. As well, if you're looking to get into something and you just don't know like where to turn to or what might interest you, try looking at crystals, or like not herbology, but like like there's people that make organic lotions and stuff, like they have skincare products made from very natural things. So it's not necessarily like stuff you might ingest, but also it's just like like you can make things for yourself from natural products, that kind of thing. If that's appealing to you at all, or if you don't know what to get into, that might be appealing to you. So keep that in mind. So let's go to the first important day. So here we have the death card. So there's a death here where you're witnessing it, or there's some way that you're a part of it. It has to do with your family, the relationship card for family. And the feelings involved is pity. And I want to say that there's a disrupt in the community, because I feel like we're looking at like a large community, but not necessarily like a lot of people, but like just a very large community. It's not like a modern city at all. It's kind of just like a small town feel, but smaller than like a built-up town, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm trying to see what's going on here, and so it's the feeling of something happens because of this thing that's very valuable here, like this whatever, I think it's a mineral. It feels like a mineral, and I'm not like, I don't know if it's the gold thing or what, but there's a mineral that's very valuable, and I'm not sure if it's valuable to like people who are colonizing this place, or if it's just like amongst the natives of this place, this mineral is valuable, or whatever it is valuable. And I feel like this causes like a clash between communities, a clash between people who are wanting to like what's it called, get like majority hold over this place that provides this mineral or material. Like, for example, if it was found under a waterfall in a specific like pond or whatever it is, that territory is kind of under your community's territory, like it's under your watch, so to speak. Even though I feel like property here is not how we think of property. But anyway, it's where you guys are, and then other people know about it, and I feel like people are coming in to take it. And I feel like because you work with it, and there's a small group of people that work with it, like how you work with it. Like from the original, like gathering it in its original form, and then there's other people that work on it along the way to get it to where however you use it in the end. But I feel like you're almost like the first, you would be the person who would get it first in its natural form, however, I if that makes sense. And I feel like you would have it with you before it goes on to the next stage of development, and I feel like your family gets caught in the crosshairs of it, and I'm just trying to see who, because I feel like there's someone that is killed, like wrongly killed, and I'm trying to see, because it's going back and forth between like a parent figure and a child figure, so it could be your child, or it could be the parent of that child, which would mean your spouse, or it could mean your parents, because I feel like this community is really close-knit. So in your current life, how you can make connections with this is, one, are you drawn to small communities, like cozy small communities? Are you with a family where you're close to each other? You might even like live with them comfortably because of this. On the flip side, you might be someone that wants to go off, see the world, see the bigger world, meet people, get out of small communities, and not live with your folks. You know, once you're out of the house, you're out of the house. So you can connect with that both ways. But what I'm sensing here is a death, and I feel like, so the pity card comes in because it's the community pity. It's the feeling of community, like that this happened to you. And I feel like it wasn't the only casualty. I feel like there were certain people targeted, but you got out of like range and someone else got hurt instead, that kind of thing. So in your current life, if you feel like a sense of obligation to people, if you are someone that likes to punish yourself in order to receive rewards, you know how some people are like, oh, well, I have to like, you know, go 3 nights without sleep so I can get this done and it'll be good after that. Well, that kind of thing, like that doesn't help you very much at all, because it's stemming from here, and that's the kind of behavior you want to get away from, if that speaks to you. Also, you might be someone that does not like people sympathizing with you or feeling sorry for you. I mean, not a lot of people do like people feeling sorry for them, but there are some that do, and you might be someone that just doesn't like it. So in order to get away from that, you would be someone that takes care of your stuff. Like, you're very good at taking care of being on top of your end of things, whether that's chores or being a parent or being a lover, whatever it is, you're taking care of your end and you like to be on top of things. Which I guess could lead to, actually, if you have OCD, or if you or people have considered you a perfectionist in any way, that would stem from here too, because it's like the feeling is, if you had done your job right, this wouldn't have happened, that kind of thing. So that could translate to your current life in that way, where you feel like, I need to be on top of everything, almost like a paranoia. So if that speaks to you, it comes from this life here. So the next important day, we're seeing this is the Enlightenment card. Enlightenment card. And when I show you this card, what comes up is the feeling of after this happens, there's a period of time where you go into like a depression, and it's like a constant like clawing out of this depression, because I feel like the death really affected you, which it would, I guess, if your child died or your parents died, if anyone died because of, because you feel like it was your fault. There's a period of depression too. So again, in your current life, if you're someone that has had bouts of depression, it could stem from here as well. And and also, if you do get depressed, it may be, the root cause would be like you not doing your job correctly. Like that's something that might really get you down, is the feeling of not being adequate at something you feel like you should be better at. And so I feel like if that's the case, this would be coming up to kind of tell you not to be hard on yourself. And so what's happening here, the person is a child, and we're seeing approval, disapproval. So what's happening is this is clarifying things for me, and this was your child, and then we're seeing the rebirth of a child. Like you went however long, I want to say a couple years, until you and your mate or partner created another child. And these feelings of approval and disapproval would be kind of like a mixed bag of emotions from the community, because some people are like, oh, you're just having that child to make up for the other child, you haven't mourned properly. And other people are very approving of it, and they're like, of course you're gonna have another child, you lost your other child. So what this feels like is, in your current life, if you're someone that really finds that you care about judgment of others or the opinion of others, or you found that the opinion of others or other people have made it so you made certain decisions that you may not have made had their opinion not be in it, that is something that may speak to you, and it's also something that needs to be stopped. If that's the case, there's a message of stop relying on other people's kind of direction, and you need to kind of start relying on your own inner compass for things. And the enlightenment came because it was this day is an enlightenment day, because not only do you kind of gain this soul back into your life, but it's also a day where you are presented with this circumstance of people not being on your side kind of thing. And it really is these situations that are hard to get through, really the best way to look at them are as opportunities. So this soul here in this life saw this as an opportunity to move past any issues he may have had with caring about what other people think, if that makes sense. So it's like he really had to, and I feel like this is a male life that we're looking at. So again, and also because it's a male life, if you've had any, like, in your current life, if you find yourself being prone to being more like masculine or aggressive or assertive or forward, those qualities that people usually put with masculine energy, if you've shown that kind of thing or have had that, if you were a tomboy when you were a kid, that's how it can play into your current life, but maybe not. And anyway, so this is a day when he stands on his own 2 feet, not caring about other people, and realizing that if he really did care what the other people thought, he would not be able to invest himself fully into his family, into the feeling of what it's like to get this child back, which is like miraculous and amazing. So it's almost like, again, the message is to really, you can't care what other people think or their opinion, because they're not in your life like you are. Like, you know everything going on in your life. Other people, what they think of you, they don't even have a clue of what's really going on in your life, because you're a whole different human being. So you really can't take their opinions or their judgment. You gotta take it with a grain of salt. You can't really rely on it or like invest in that, because that can really bring you down and it can limit you. You really just need to go based off how you feel. If something makes you feel good, go for it. Even if it's weird, like if you want to take a class in something, if you want to start studying something and it's weird to your friends or whatever, go for it. You'll attract new friends that get you, And if it's your family, it doesn't matter. Again, you need to put their opinions to the side and really just live your life for you. So we get to the death here. And this is the accident card. I'm trying to see what it is here. What is the accident? Let's see. It's what's coming through. I just feel like it's something like you're somewhere and you're higher up, and I feel like we're looking at, I just feel like we're looking at like a weird klutzy situation where it's like a misstep and it's a tumble and then it's like a broken just neck or something. Like it's like one of those weird freak accidents that I don't get a lot of on here actually. And I just feel like a misstep causes you to fall, roll, and then something snaps, like a neck or a spine or like something snaps that makes you pass. So in your current life, if you're klutzy, if you have weak ankles, if you have back or neck issues, chronically, like if you've had like, neck issues, if you're someone that gets it where you tweak your neck, every few years you might do like a neck tweak, that kind of thing where you can't move your neck for a day or whatever. And also if you don't like heights. So keep that in mind. And if that's the case, it stems from this life. Now, the lesson here is to love others. Love others. Can you see that? Yeah, there we go. All right. Well, so it's interesting because it's kind of like a cycle. Like the people that you loved people that have passed, and then you've loved people that came into the world. And it's also like, in order for you to love other people, there has to be a sense of self-love as well. And that's where we see this like period of time between this period and this period, the depression period. What is useful with depression is knowing that you can get out of it. And I feel like this person got out of the depression through the love of others as well, because I feel like he did have a solid partner, and I feel like there are people around him. This community really they care for each other. It is a big family. And I feel like with that kind of love, and also learning loving himself and realizing it's not his fault and things happen, going through the process of it, I feel like that's where this card comes in. And I feel like it's coming through as a message for you as far as if you want to get to a place emotionally where you want to be a certain way, it's a process, and a lot of us don't like that process because it does take a lot of time and it can be kind of painful sometimes, and it requires patience, and you don't know if or when you are going to come out on the other side, and that's where trust comes in, right? So it's like if you're someone that wants to get somewhere, you want to see change, you're going to have to go through the process, and the best way to do that is to actually try to enjoy the process while you're doing it, realizing that the process itself is where all those beautiful, valuable lessons are. And you're picking up points as you go, you're scoring points as you go through this process to get out onto the other side. So think of it that way, all the gems that you collect during the process in order to get to where you want to be. But of course, first you have to start the process, but always know there's another side to things. There's that trust that you will come out on the other side of things. You just have to go through it. And going through it does not have to be as hard or as complex as you make it, because we all make our own realities. So we make the situation what it is based on the emotions we allow ourselves to feel about it. So it's like if you want to get through something, you got to look at it in a way where it's more useful or positive for you, and it'll go by quicker. So anyway, I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed your past life reading, and I hope you're able to make connections too. And thanks for letting me read you.